Okay, so just kind of a bit of a disclaimer before I kind of go on rambling and ranting. I typically don't do these type of style videos. I like to do kind of longer form, deeply edited style stuff. But as someone who is in the NR2003 community, admittedly not nearly as active as in previous years, this situation has definitely caught my attention. I think it's something that's extremely, extremely important if we want this community to continue for years to come. And it's about the preservation of this game and everything that was made for this game by this community. So, for context of why I'm talking about this, and also a lot of people in the other community are talking about this, we have to start with Stunod Racing. Now, in case you don't know what Stunod Racing is the single biggest NR2003 website out there. If you want a particular mod or track or paint scheme or add-on or whatever you might need for the game, chances are you have to download it from Stunod Racing. But a few weeks ago, Stunod Racing actually shut down and it was replaced by a new website called Stewie Racing. Now, Stewie Racing has nothing to do with Stewie from Family Guy, but that's the point. Stewie Racing was a pretty brand new website. I think you can import your account and whatnot. I only briefly took a couple glances at the website. I didn't really interact with it too much. I just know that, okay, it's Stunod Racing, got replaced by Stewie Racing. But it turns out, from what I've seen at least, the community reception to Stewie Racing was not very positive. There was a lot of criticisms on numerous things, at least from what I've seen. And actually, shortly after Stewie Racing launched, it actually got DDoS by hackers because, of course, internet hackers have to target entertainment niches instead of actual harmful people, but that's besides the point. So after Stewie Racing got taken down, the Stunod people had to basically scramble to move everything back to the old website. And for a little bit there, Stunod Racing was actually temporarily unavailable. So if you want to download, so again, like I said, since Stunod Racing was the single biggest NR2003, is the single biggest NR2003 website, if you wanted to download a track or mod, chances are you could not because Stunod Racing was shut down. Now, thankfully, Stunod Racing, at the moment me recording this, August 1st in 2026, is back up and running. However, there is currently a download limit of 5 downloads a day, unless if you pay money. I don't know how much the price is, but if you're just a normal average Joe, you're locked to 5 downloads a day, but if you pay more, you get access to more downloads per day. And with Stunod Racing being temporarily unavailable, I think I also heard that you couldn't make accounts on there for a little bit, and now with this current download limit and paywall, it has caused a lot of people in the community, particularly mod and track creators and other paint scheme creators, and everyone who creates mods for NR2003 to essentially scramble to figure out, okay, where in the heck do I put my stuff besides Stunod Racing? Now, let me be clear, this is not a video about the Stunod Racing drama. That's an entirely different video for an entirely different group of people to talk about. I'm not going to talk about the drama in this situation. The only reason I mentioned the Stunod Racing situation here is because it, like I said, it caused a huge sort of reaction from the rest of the NR community of, okay, Stunod's not probably the most stable place to put my stuff online right now. Where do I put my stuff now? And the two ones I keep seeing is, number one, people post their content on other sites similar to Stunod. Like the one I keep seeing is AD Racing Designs. It's a site very similar to Stunod when it comes to layout and overall purpose and design. They have their own forums and whatnot. Or the second option, the one I'm seeing, is people launching their own websites and putting up their downloads on there. And this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I personally believe we need to abandon the idea of these websites solely dedicated to NR2003 to act as the primary, if not the only way, to download content for the game. None of it is guaranteed to preserve the game's history. If anything, it's just kicking the can down the road. Now, I'm going to echo a lot of the points brought up by the Ben Crazy in his recent Reddit post on the NR2003 subreddit. I actually highly recommend everyone read that post. I'm going to link it down below. It actually partially inspired me to make this video you're watching right now. But the main point he made on that post was that these independently run websites solely dedicated to NR2003 are not the answer when it comes to preserving the game's history. And I 1000% agree. 1000% agree. And one of the main reasons why, he also illustrated this, again, I highly recommend everyone to read his post. I'll link it down below. One of the main reasons was, we've seen so many people and websites in the NR community come and gone, like the ones he mentioned, the Bull Ring, Racing Graphics, NR Racing. I know that one is still around, but no one has posted anything there in years, and even some of the older download links I have trouble downloading. Sim Racing Design, that was a big one that got shut down. I remember that when that got shut down, that was huge. A lot of stuff got lost. And that's my point. Whenever these websites shut down, there's a lot of stuff. There's years, possibly decades worth of stuff just poof, gone. And look, I am not faulting those websites I mentioned. I am not faulting anybody who ran or is running independently owned websites. In fact, I actually have a lot of respect for people who run these independently owned NR2000 websites dedicated to NR2003, because they take a lot of time, resources, and of course money to run. But that's also the problem with these websites too. They take a lot of time, resources, and money to run. Only so many people have the time, resources, and money to run these websites, and that's why a lot of them have shut down over the years. And with these websites shutting down, that results in a lot of this stuff being lost. And ironically, when these typically a lot of times when these websites shut down, ironically a lot of get posted on the Stunod to quote unquote preserve it. But as we saw just recently, if Stunod shuts down, and we saw when Stunod temporarily shut down, we couldn't download years, if not decades, worth of history. So I don't think so. For that reason alone, I just don't think having a bunch of independently run NR2003 websites is the answer to preserving the game, because they can just be one website, especially with how big Stunod is. If the Stunod theoretically shut down like tomorrow or something, there would be so much stuff lost to the point that would be next to impossible to recover it all. And not to mention too, another challenge too, if that ever happens, the NR2003 community, our community, is a lot more niche compared to the games out there, compared to especially Minecraft. Let's use Minecraft as an example. Planet Minecraft. Think of Planet Minecraft as like the Stunod equivalent to Minecraft. If you want to download a texture pack or a custom map or whatever into Minecraft, Planet Minecraft is likely the place you want to download it from. Say if hypothetically that would have shut down, right? Would there be a lot of stuff lost? Abso-freaking-lutely. But at least with that community, because of how big and popular Minecraft is, I mean, Minecraft is, like, by sales numbers wise, it's the most successful game of all time. Because of how popular and beloved Minecraft is by everybody, there's at least a better chance of that stuff being saved. In our 2003 community, if that would have happened, if Stunod or if any of these other independently run websites would have shut down tomorrow out of the blue, it would be much, much harder for all that stuff to be saved, because of how niche our community is compared to other ones out there. Now, going back to the Ben Crazy's Reddit post again, at the very end of said post, he suggested to people that for anyone creating stuff for NR 2003 should look into uploading their stuff onto websites dedicated to mods for all video games, particularly naming Nexus Mods and ModDB. Personally, I'm not familiar with either website. I visited both websites just to kind of take a quick glance of what they are before recording this video, but I'm not familiar with either website. From what I've seen, Nexus Mods at the release is similar to something like CurseForge, again, going back to the Minecraft comparison, where you can just click on whatever game you want to download a mod for, and just download all the mods you want in there in the world. Again, I'm not familiar with either website. I'm not sure if they're good websites or bad websites, but that's a suggestion he proposed at the end of his post. Now, personally, if I had to add on to Ben Crazy's suggestion, I would actually recommend people in the NR community look into uploading the stuff on the Internet Archive. Now, is the Internet Archive perfect? Heck no. There's definitely some issues with it. I mean, the other year, they actually had their own DDoS attack of their own that took down that website for several days as well. And plus, again, how niche our community is compared to all the other communities out there, definitely going to be finding some stuff, like very, very like obscure stuff from NR is definitely going to be like finding a needle in a haystack. But still, despite those flaws that are admittedly sort of nitpicks, I think the Internet Archive is the best possible resource we can use as a community to preserve the history of NR 2003. Because there's a reason why a lot of people in the lost media community, like when they find like a lost or obscure TV show or movie or the case may be, they typically upload it onto there. Because if there's any place on the internet that's best for preserving content, it's that place. Is that website. Because, I mean, the Internet Archive is nonprofit. They rely mostly on donations to keep everything up and running. And their sole dedicated mission of the Internet Archive is to preserve as much of the internet's history as possible. And I think all of us in the NR 2003 community should 100% use it to our advantage. Like, it's free to use. You don't need to make an account to download anything off of there. I've personally uploaded a couple things on there, and uploading on that website is very similar to how you would upload something to Google Drive or Mediafire or something. It's very simple and easy for anyone to use, and I'd much rather trust an Internet Archive link to be available 5 years from now as opposed to something like a Google Drive or Mediafire, which someone could delete off their Google Drive or Mediafire. I mean, those links expire, of course. I would much rather trust an Internet Archive download link over something like Stunod Racing or even AD Racing Designs or any of these other independent websites, because I know there's a much, much better chance stuff on the Internet Archive will last longer than any of the other websites out there. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on this entire NR 2003 situation. I, again, highly recommend reading the Ben Crazy's full Reddit post. I'll leave it linked down below. And just to reiterate one more time, this is not me throwing blame or shade to anybody who runs an NR 2003 website. I have a lot of respect for people who do that. They're really are the pillars of our community that keep us afloat after all the drama and everything like that. And of course, these websites take so much time, money, and resources to do. But at the same time, eventually, the time, money, and resources to run these websites will run out. And oftentimes when that happens, the website in question shuts down. Years worth of stuff become lost media, and even the stuff that are saved from said shut down website will get uploaded to another dedicated NR 2003 dedicated website that also take time, money, and resources to run, and are volatile to meeting the same fate, and the sort of same cycle happens over and over again. And I think us as a community should find, instead of just us kicking the can down the road, just uploading stuff to more volatile websites, I think us as a community should find a resource that is near permanent, like Internet Archive, to keep our stuff preserved and preserve the legacy of this gaming community. So that's just my overall thoughts. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. I'm open to any discussion and opinions in the comments or anything down below. But thank y'all for watching. If y'all made it this far, I really appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all for our next hopefully normal video on the channel.